Hello, everybody. It's me, producer Ross, and welcome to another edition of the Monday Recap. And once again, I'm joined, as ever, by good old Liam from Crew as we round up the weekend's action and look forward to the week ahead. And one thing I'm going to start with is I need a haircut very badly, but positive news for town, a win against Blackpool. Let's get into the action. So, Liam, your verdict on the 2-0 win against Blackpool. It's good to feel a weekend with 3 points. Your thoughts?
Yeah, completely agree. It's good to be positive. I will get the negative out of the way first, which I thought the first 40 minutes were a bit scratchy. And I don't think we can just overlook that. I think it was a bit scratchy first half, and there was only one winner in that first 40 minutes. It was Blackpool, and really should have been ahead by at least a couple. But going now straight to the positives, which there were far many more than there were negatives, which is strange after the few months that we've had. I have to say that even in that first 40 minutes before Judge put us ahead, I thought the build-up play was pretty good. There was a lot more dynamic passing, and I think shown with Sears' goal that should have been given. It's just the final pass that we could have got in behind Blackpool a few times. But I thought it was really encouraging. I thought Troy Parrott was really good. And then Judge scores a really good goal. And then second half, and I don't think this would be an understatement. I think that's the best half of football in the entire season. And I have to say, I think that was far better than the full performance that we put in at Bloomfield Road when we scored 4. Because on that day we were clinical. We scored 4 really good goals, but we didn't create a huge amount of chances. We probably had maybe a couple more chances onto the floor, but we scored. We were just clinical. Whereas I don't think that it's an over-exaggeration to say that we could have had 5 or 6 in that second half. I mean, McGuinness has had 2 headers that he probably should have put in. Sears has had 1 blocked that he should have buried. We've had a couple of other chances as well. So, and they didn't really look like they were giving us any problems whatsoever. So I think overall it's a really, really good performance. I think what we said on Thursday about the loan signings and my point about the dynamic fullbacks, I think you saw that with Kenlock and Matheson, that difference of bombing up the wing and adding that overload in the wide areas, allowing the wingers to cut more inside, worked really well. I think Judge, who has had a lot of criticism this season, had his best game since he came to town when we were in the Championship, and we all thought that he might be the saviour to keep us up, or at least when we knew we were going down, that he might be the player to get us back up. That was a really, really good performance by him. And Harrott, when he came on, looked really lively as well. I mentioned Parrott. I think he was immense. I think, although he didn't get a goal, I thought his movement was brilliant. He occupied the centre half, and Sears' goal, which wasn't given, he set it up. So all round, he looks like a really, really good player. And I know we've had this conversation about loans and stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's all about promotion. And I think now they just need to get loans that use the loan system as we have done now and just get on with it. We shouldn't just complain about the fact that there's loads of loans in again. That's another argument for another day going forward. So a really, really good day at the office. And just a quick word on Lambert. I think credit where credit's due. He made a ballsy decision in dropping Chambers, and I think it worked. I think the 2 centre halves, maybe first half, there were a few times where they got caught a little bit and we could have gone behind, but I think overall, I think they were both really good at the back. And I'll be honest, I think unless there's an injury, I don't think Luke Chambers now is a first team starter for Ipswich, and I think that's what's going to happen. It's got to happen. I think he's out of contract in the summer. He's been here for so long. He's 35 though, and he's not the future. And you saw today a young dynamic team pull together Blackpool, and let's not forget they have beaten Hull, Peterborough. So they're not mugs. They might have been below us in the table, but they're not mugs. They're just inconsistent. So I'm not getting over excited. One good result doesn't mean that it's going to cause promotion, but it just gives us a little bit of optimism going forward.
Definitely well said. And of course, we're not getting carried away. It's not going to change a lot of people's opinions on Lambert and the way forward. But a good positive win. You're always going to love a Town win, of course. So we're going into the Tuesday schedule, the crazy schedule that we've got amongst us. Of course, we've got two big games coming up. Posh on Tuesday night. They're benchmark. We need to beat them to have any chances of definitely being that promotion candidate. And of course, then Saturday, Shrewsbury Town on Saturday. How are you feeling going in these two games? Both teams who we played this season. We just beat Shrewsbury 2-1, that late goal from Lancaster, and the Posh game, not a good result. Shrewsbury, they actually beat Peterborough 2-1 earlier in the year. So they've been able to beat a team like Posh. So how are you feeling going into these two games? And I'm sorry I cannot say Shrewsbury right, Shrewsbury, whatever. I don't care.
It's a real tough one because League One is a really, really strange division. There hasn't been, I know Lincoln have been fairly consistent recently, but there hasn't been an outstanding team who've just taken the league by the scruff of the neck and just walked it. There are a lot of teams in this division that have far better resources than a lot of the lower down teams, and yet they've still not been completely battered. And I think that's just, look, we're not going to pull any punches. Ipswich Town haven't been good enough so far. And even with the wins that they have got, a lot of the performances haven't been good enough either. They've managed to just scrape the results. But the other teams have been losing to some of these smaller teams as well. So it's not all just about Ipswich. And as we know about Ipswich, it's the top teams that they've generally struggled against. It's only been the last few weeks where it's kind of spread into the lower teams, which is why I still think I'm not going to change my mind on Lambert. I think the whole PR around him at the beginning has gone, and he's done a lot of bad PR in the last 6 months. And I don't think he can recover from that. So even if Town get promoted, I just don't see where he's going to get fans back on side. But we support Ipswich Town, not Paul Lambert. So at the end of the day, if Paul Lambert turns this around and gets promotion, well, fair play to him, credit. But it all has to start on Tuesday. That is where it has to start. I've just said that I'm not going to get overexcited about one good performance against a mid-table side and a victory. Tuesday is a key game because if Town can get that win finally against one of these teams, and I've seen their pitch, and I don't care if they decide to play rugby on it rather than football. As long as Town have the winning score, I couldn't care less if the performance is muck again, as long as it turns into Ipswich's advantage. That is the key game. That is the key game now. If they can get that result and really put a market down, then all of a sudden you think, ooh, hang on, there is life here, and the loans are making a difference. they're raising standards. I mean, we've already said the loans are better players than what the club have already got, but I think it's also an opportunity to make other players in the squad hungry, to try and get their places back from these people who aren't even full-time Ipswich players. And it just raises standards. And I'm hoping that if he plays the same team and plays in the same manner that they did on Saturday, then I'm hoping that we'll give Posh a right good go. And I don't think they're amazing, but they are dangerous. They are a dangerous side. But there's no supporters in the ground, so it doesn't matter who you're playing. There's no aura around them. Peterborough are just as they're a bit more consistent, but they're not the best team in this division. And frankly, they weren't very good when they came to Portman Road. I mean, they've won without a shot on target, so that shows you everything. But they do have dangerous players. But I am more optimistic after Saturday. As I say, though, I won't get too excited. But if we can get that result on Tuesday, then you can start thinking maybe the blue touch paper has been lit and suddenly Ipswich Town are actually going to start to become relevant in terms of this League One promotion race again. Shrewsbury, we should be winning, but we all said that it could be a tricky game. They've had a couple of good results recently. But again, if Town carry on, if this is a consistent performance now with new players that come in, and it gives this energy to this Ipswich side, and I think Flynn Downs as captain was very good on Saturday. I thought that was an excellent performance as a skipper. I think that there's going to be better times ahead. So that's why I think Lambert needs to just stay away from putting all the old guys back in and slowing it all down. But I'm confident that we should beat Shrewsbury at the weekend, whatever the result of Peterborough. But for me, I think Peterborough's the season. I think you win that, suddenly there is real belief and things might start moving. And we talk about momentum. The squad is big enough. There is a lot of games back to back where you've got Saturday, Tuesday, and that can take a real toll on the squad. But if you've got momentum, suddenly you want the next game to come quickly. You don't want to wait. And it could actually play into Town's hands if they can start getting some momentum, could turn into a bit of a juggernaut and burst their way into the playoffs. And who knows, maybe automatic now is a little bit far away, but it's all about momentum now. And if they can get that result at Peterborough and get this monkey off the back and get a result against the big side, then who knows what they can achieve in the next 6 weeks that we've got these back-to-back games where we might suddenly start looking at Ipswich as real contenders again. So I'm optimistic for the week ahead for the first time in ages.
Cool. Well, we'll wait and see then. And we're back, of course, next week for the Monday recap. We're going to finish the video on loan watch. Of course, we've got players out on loans. You'll mention loans, but players who are currently playing out on loan. Of course, Janoy playing League One with Fleetwood Town. He played a full 90 minutes in Fleetwood's 0-0 draw with Bristol Rovers. That was Solomon Grayson's first game for Fleetwood. Of course, now he's their manager. Brett and Corey and Daba both played in the Ayres 1-0 defeat against Hearts. Corey played the full 90 minutes while Brett came on for the last 10 minutes or so in that defeat in the Scottish Championship. And then Idris played the full 90 minutes in Grimsby's 1-0 defeat at Newport County. Of course, Paul Hurst, the manager there, they're currently in the relegation zone. So could Paul Hurst have another relegation on his CV? That would not be good for his management CV. But there we go. That's all the loans. Adam Shibek didn't play on the weekend for Chesterfield. They didn't have a game. So there we go. But Liam, thank you for joining me as ever. A nice positive Monday recap for once. Hopefully next week it'll be another positive one, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to get in your comments down below. Let us know your thoughts on the win against Blackpool and how you're feeling going into this very massive week. A big game against Peterborough on Tuesday. So there, guys.